Hey, yo, how is it going, everybody? It's your boy, Marcus the Low Vision Gamer, and welcome back to a brand spanking new vid. Today, or tonight, I've got a new little tier list vid I'm doing, but this time, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite Nintendo Switch/Switch 2 games. It's been a while since I've done one of these. This is going to be like the updated version. These are 10 of my favorite games that I've played so far. Like, honestly, just of all time, and we're gonna go through them all. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to give you guys a little look-see at something I've been working on. You're probably asking, what the frig is this monstrosity here? Well, you guys, this tier list right here is gonna be for my second channel, which, if you don't know, it's a whole Marvel Snap themed YouTube channel. Basically, what I am doing is I'm going to add my entire card collection into this one tier list. Once it is all done, going forward, any new card that I get will be added to this list. Now, in the past, what I've done is I made a whole bunch of seasonal lists. So you have, this Herald, so you have this Fantastic Four First Steps. You have, this is supposed to be Master of Arcane. And then you have... Oh, no, what is this one? I think this is just like my top favorite cards. This is just my top favorite cards. I wonder if I ended up uploading that video. But we got the Snap Packs tier list. This one right here. This is the What If tier list. So you got all the different cards for that. That's what I used to do. Is I would make tier lists based off of a particular season, but I kind of stopped that during the December season. In fact, I don't even remember the order in which I got the other cards, so I decided to just kind of push it to the side. In fact, last month, January, I didn't even do a whole tier list for that. So this is gonna be the new permanent tier list that's going to be forever going until they stop making cards or until I decide to stop playing the game. But yeah, it's going to be a really good time. But anyways, that's not what we're here to focus on. We're here to focus on this right here, the Switch/Switch 2 tier list. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the first game. In my number 10 spot, I am going to give this to Madden NFL 26. Now, look, this game does get a lot of hate because it doesn't have any changes. I mean, this is my very first official Madden game, so I hope that's not the case because I would be very disappointed. But for me, I guess what really stood out to me was yeah, sure, you had your exhibition stuff, your standard play modes, but what actually stood out for me was the fact that the career mode was a genuine career mode. I'm not going to go into the whole spiel about the career mode. I kind of talked about that in my Switch 2 unboxing vid and whatnot. Go check that out if you haven't. But basically, to kind of keep it short, it's NBA 2K's my career was you create your character, and then they just throw you into an online lobby, and yeah, there's no career aspect to it whatsoever. But in Madden, it's you build your character, you pick your attributes, and then they throw you into the combine, and you're doing all these little mini games doing bench press and sprints, and it's fully interactive. And then you have cutscenes where you're talking to your coaches and managers. It's really in depth. But it is a sports game, and for me, when it comes to sports games, if I'm playing with family members, my dad or cousins, it is a blast. But since it's just me, I'm the only one that pretty much uses the console. I see Madden as more of a quick fix game, but I do still feel like it is a solid addition to the Switch collection. I have a game that was the Madden knockoff called Wild Card Football, and that was a pretty good game. But now that I have the real Madden, I think it is a solid addition to the collection. Coming up on the number 9 spot, I think I'm going to give it to... For number 9, I think I am going to give it to... I'm going to go Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, here's my reasoning. Like, the overall package is solid, right? Like, Sonic Generations had some heater levels and bosses, except for the final boss, I will say that. Shadows Generations also did have a solid selection of levels and boxes. But the reason why it's not as high is because the fact that, like, if we were to separate Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations, I think I would have put Sonic Generations in 9 and maybe Shadow Generations in, like, the top 5. But since we're talking about a complete package, I'm gonna have to put it in 9 because the final boss in Sonic Generations was very underwhelming. It's like when I beat the thing, I managed to get it. What was it? An A or S? I think it was an S class on my first try. Which, if the boss was really hard to complete, that's like a big achievement, right? But if the boss is like super easy, it's disappointing. It's like imagine this, right? Just imagine this. You're going into the ring against a freaking German Shepherd, but then once you actually get to the fight and you see who your opponent is, you see it's nothing but a tiny little Chihuahua. Like, bruh. I mean, that's not to say that, like, Chihuahuas are pretty feisty, but you get the point, right? You're expecting something big and intimidating, only to find out that the boss is a complete joke. That is essentially what the final boss for Sonic Generations is. And it's a shame because it was a really good game. So, for that reason, I am putting it in the number 9 spot. Now, one thing I forgot to say at the beginning, do keep in mind that this is solely my opinion. So, if you think that Sonic X Shadow Generations should be higher, let me know in the comments where it should be and also why. And I might reconsider and maybe we'll put it higher. But this is just my tier list for now. In 8th place, I am going to give it to... In 8th place, I'm going to go with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, for me, like, it is a very solid game, right? And they recently got a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which the upgrade pack is free to download, which is very nice. And yeah, I will say the graphics and everything look great. The gameplay and stuff is good. I guess the reason why it's not like super crazy high in the list, even though there's like a lot of different galaxies, it's a bit like a slow pace, right? Which, nothing wrong with that, but it's like, it's not really the type of game I play on and off, but I will admit, it is a really solid game. So, that's where it's going to be in my number 8. For number 7, I am going to give it to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Listen, I would love to put in games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I would have loved to put in games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or Mario Kart World. Although, I'm going to be honest, I feel like Mario Kart World felt a little bit short. Mainly because the open world just kind of felt like dull, which is a shame because I thought that was a cool aspect. But after playing it, I'm just like, yeah, it feels boring. So it almost made this list. But Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, for me, just pretty much just changes the racing changes like racing entirely. Like it's like the first lap you're starting on the track that you selected, but then on the second lap you get teleported to a completely different world, and it's like good luck trying to memorize tracks because the layouts aren't the second lap's gonna be different, and you have to adapt to it, which is really cool. And plus, there's like a good cast of characters too. You got all your Sonic ones, and then they're also adding some other guest characters like Pac-Man. Heck, they even added freaking SpongeBob and Patrick, which was pretty cool. So yeah, overall, pretty good racing game. What really kind of impressed me was when it came to the... Oh, yeah, I gotta put this in the charger, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up here. But what really impressed me with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds was the content that they offered. I mean, yes, they do have their Grand Prix and time trial, but what really stands out for me is their Race Park, which is essentially the game's like versus mode. But here's what's cool: if you're just playing Race Park solo, you play against like different CPU teams, but it's not for nothing. You actually get like new vehicles and rewards just by playing that mode, which I find myself playing. Like anytime I visit that game, I find myself playing more of because it actually gives me a good reason to give that game a shot, right? So overall, absolute heater. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. In number 6, I gotta give it to... Ooh, what do we put? It's between Splatoon. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put... Well... Number 6, I think I'm gonna go with Splatoon 3. I kind of wanted to put it over Street Fighter 6, but Street Fighter 6 is a pretty solid game. Yes, I know that they're both like different genres, but I'm kind of gonna explain why. But who knows? Maybe towards the end I might switch them up. But for right now, I'm putting Splatoon 3 in the number 6 spot. The reason why I put Splatoon 3 at number 6 is because, for it being like a multiplayer shooter, right? It's pretty cool. And, for me being visually impaired, having the whole colored ink aspect is like really cool because I could actually see my shots and where my opponent's shots are coming from, which is very nice, right? So it's like the controls feel really good, and it actually does have a surprising amount of content. But I guess the only thing is, even that game, considering that it has like the DLC with like Side Order, which is like it's like one of those, it's like a mode where you go through like a series of floors where you have to complete different objectives. It's cool, right? Even the story, you play a little bit of story, that's cool, but it's not something that I'm gonna play every single time, right? Like, maybe once in a while, knock out a few matches, but it's not like I'm going to play that for, like, hours upon hours or long periods of time. So that's why I'm putting it in 6. In the number 5, I am going to put Street Fighter 6 above that. Now we're getting into the top 5, ladies and gents. It is only going to get better from here. I mean, we're pretty much almost done with this entire tier list, which is crazy. But for the number 5 spot, I'm giving it to Street Fighter 6. I love, because this is like my very first ever like Street Fighter game. It's not my first fighting game because I've played like Mortal Kombat and some others. But I think what I love about Street Fighter 6 is how like accessible it is when it comes to like the control schemes. Because if you play games like that, if you want to try to pull off a move like Hadouken or something else, you have to remember a whole bunch of button combinations, which kind of feels impossible to try to pull off in a fast-paced game like that. So having like modern controls where you could just press a button and it just pulls off that move, that's really nice. And it's a lot more enjoyable. The story mode is surprisingly really good and has a good amount of exploration to it. So yeah, I got to admit, really fun fighting game. I love the cast of characters. My favorite fighter in particular is Luke. Very simple controls and really solid. And surprisingly, like even the online mode is actually not too shabby. I've been playing a lot more of that compared to the story mode, but yeah, really good game. For my number 4 spot, I'm giving it to Metroid Dread. This game right here is absolutely incredible. The controls are very good. Playing at like the shooting is very like good and responsive. Like the bosses are really good. Even the story, some of the cutscenes are really good too. Just like the whole game itself is like absolutely awesome. In fact, I've replayed that game at least like 5 or 6 times. I lost track. I've kind of been taking a long break from it because I've been focusing on other games. But maybe at some point in time, I might consider giving it a playthrough once more. But yeah, that's kind of where my that's what my number 3 or number 4 pick is. Now we're getting to the podium. The top 3 Nintendo Switch games in third place. I'm giving it to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This game pretty much is far better than Metroid Dread in so many ways. And don't get me wrong, Metroid Dread is an incredible game. That's why I put it on this list, because it's like I've replayed that game so many times because of how like fluid the controls are and everything. But but if we're talking about Prince of Persia though, phenomenal. The story is phenomenal. The map is like huge. Like in Metroid Dread, you're basically going to like different zones, but in Prince of Persia, it's almost like a whole open world game, but in 2D format. And like the bosses keep you on your toes, man. Like even on like the easy setting, they're nothing to scoff at, man. Especially the final boss. Oh my gosh, y'all. Absolutely insane. And actually I did make some vids for it on the channel. Let me know if you guys want to see more of that. If I should bring that back and try to like play more of it for you guys. Let me know in the comments. But now we get into the number 2 and number 1 spots. And my goodness, y'all, this is going to be hard. Oh, man, we got 2 heaters. We've got Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and DK Bonanza, which I did get last week, Friday. Oh, man. And actually, I still have the video for where I unboxed it. I haven't uploaded it yet. But once I do, make sure you guys check that out because it is awesome. But oh man, what do I pick? They're both so good. This is so hard to choose, guys. I love both of these games. If for Tears of the Kingdom, the world for that game is massive. Like with Breath of the Wild, you basically just have like the surface world, right? And that map was huge. But now that you have inclusions like the floating islands and then the depths, big step up. And there's like so many different shrines to discover and like just like a whole lot more like depth to the game. Even the like Link's new abilities that he gets are just incredible. Probably better than the ones in Breath of the Wild, I will say. But DK Bonanza, on the other hand, oh my god, this game was incredible. Right from like when I played the demo. Okay, I got it. Oh, this is gonna hurt because I love Tears of the Kingdom so much. But in second place, I gotta give it to Tears. I gotta give it to Tears. Phenomenal game, y'all. Everything I just said about like the whole open world aspect, like the depths, the floating islands, and then the surface world. That's like 3 different layers to explore. Like, that is absolutely insane. Like, oh man, Link's new abilities are just good. I could talk on and on about Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm gonna avoid it. I'm gonna avoid talking about it a lot because my number 1 spot, even though I just got this recently, I gotta give it to DK Bonanza, man. That's my number 1. That's it right there. This game right here is an absolute banger. Absolutely amazing. Like, who would have thought that destroying a whole freaking environment would be so freaking satisfying? Like, oh, I want to talk about all this game's features. Oh my god, it's just so good, y'all. Like, just like when I play, even the demo alone, I was having so much fun just breaking up open walls and just collecting all the gold and stuff like that. And then also finding the Banandium gems, which is kind of like the moons in Super Mario Odyssey, which I will also say this game is far better than Super Mario Odyssey. Like, it's crazy. Like, the fact that, because, like, the thing is, when it comes to the moons in Odyssey, when you start the game, when you get your first moon in the Cascade Kingdom, you know, it feels good, right? And then as you start to discover more moons once you get to other kingdoms, it also feels good. But after you have unlocked the very last kingdom, you've completed the Moon Kingdom and unlocked the 2 extra, like, special worlds. At that point, it's like, now what? They don't have any value anymore. I mean, yeah, sure, they unlock you extra goodies in the shop, but for what? Like, they don't really give me a good reason to come back. But in DK Bonanza, though, the Banandium gems, that's what they're called. They're like bananas in the form of gems. The Banandium gems actually serve a purpose because it acts as like your XP system, your experience points. And once you get 5 Banandium gems, you'll get 1 skill point that you can use to upgrade DK's health, and some other attributes. Even like the clothing customization is pretty good too, because they actually have status effects, right? Unlike Odyssey, the clothing for Mario, it was basically just for show. But yeah, man, I could blabber on and on about how good DK Bonanza is, but oh, wow. Wow. Just freaking stunning. There it is, folks. Those are my top 10 Nintendo Switch/Switch 2 games. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are about this list in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and sub. Turn on those post notifications. And also, make sure to check out my second channel as well. I'll be posting a lot more Marvel Snap content. You will for sure get to see this guy right here grow a bit more. So yeah, guys, I shall see you in the next episode. Peace.